On this edition of Motorcycle Experience, our Lightning Bolt Project bike gets a custom pipe. While also in the final stages, our 25th anniversary Goldwing heads to the paint shop for a protective overcoat. Then in South Dakota, a freak snowstorm sends Norm and I packing, just before everyone starts breaking out the bug spray and washing down their motorcycles. As Motovan presents Motorcycle Experience. Hello and welcome to Motorcycle Experience, the voice of motorcyclists everywhere. I'm Dave Hatchin. This week we're kicking off our show by sampling a king of the road motorcycle from the folks at Harley-Davidson, the all-new Road King. This is one of the most popular touring motorcycles in Harley-Davidson's lineup, the Road King. Recently, this classic underwent a complete overhaul thanks to what HD called Project Rushmore, a special Skunk Works project that saw company engineers compiling a ton of direct customer feedback and implementing as many subtle tweaks and revisions possible without changing the motorcycle's original heart and soul. Some of the results from this process included a hefty bump in the King's air-cooled 103V twins torque and horsepower. And speaking of beef, check out the new 49mm front fork. Then there's the new ABS-assisted linked braking system, the redesigned saddle, revised hand controls, and hard luggage, complete with a new one-touch latching system. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Pretty much everything has been breathed on, and yet from a distance it still looks like a Road King. And how does it ride? Well, here's what longtime Harley owner and firefighter Jim Young has to say.
You know, Jim, Harley-Davidson did all kinds of refinements to the Road King this year with their new Rushmore program.
Yes, they did.
But it still, to me, looks like a Harley. It looks like a Road King. What was your first impression?
That traditional Harley-Davidson, you know, the full fenders, the lots of chrome, the big front end on them, long and low, just that traditional, what everyone fell in love with, what I fell in love with when I first seen them as a kid, you know.
Yeah. You hit the starter, you fired it up. What did you think of the 103?
Loved it. I have an older 88 cubic inch Ultra Glide, and this is the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it works well, mine, but this one just, the pull, it's so smooth, and it's an even pull from start to finish. And once you get up there, it just levels off, and it's that chug down the road you go.
Again, they've also worked on the suspension, new fork, etc. How did it just feel as far as hitting some of those back roads today?
It has a very soft suspension on it, rigid enough to take the good bumps that we were having to get across them today, but
Yeah.
very smooth, and I believe it's an air over hydraulic shock package, but very smooth, and it's adjustable too.
Let's talk about that riding position. You've got the floorboards, saddle, pullback handlebars. Do you like that riding position? How was it?
Just need a TV remote, it's like sitting at home on the couch.
Yeah.
Very comfortable. They changed the bars a little bit. They're up a little higher and back.
Mm-hmm.
Very comfortable, and long haul bike.
Yeah.
You could sit on this and ride for hours and be comfortable with no issues whatsoever.
Yeah. Harley has really worked hard on improving paint, chrome, fit, finish. There's some new pieces involved there with the pannier bags. What did you think about the overall fit and finish?
They've really cleaned a lot of little things up that you don't really notice at first, but the more we rode it today, you're right, the saddlebags, a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Nice and rounded off, bars in front for the saddlebags.
Yeah.
Have dipped down, allow your passenger a little more knee room, and they've opened up the front fender. You can see that big meaty tire on the front now.
Right. Yeah.
Every stop, you see other little things. Well, that's a little different. So it's a lot of little changes and tweaks, but all for the best. They've done a beautiful job.
One of the other little refinements have been the one-touch pannier bags, new hinges, new levers to open you up. What do you think of the bags?
That is nice.
Yeah.
You get back to some of the other models and the old opening systems where it was the reflector on the outside, play around that one touch. That is super slick. They did a nice job. Cleaned up the inside of the bag with the mounts as well. They've done a great job in improving the bag itself.
So who would you recommend this motorcycle to?
For anyone that wants to do the cruising or, you know, just the little short runs, very comfortable for that. And if you need to get out on the highway and take the day and ride and not look back, it'd be ideally for that as well.
So Road King, still king of the road? Any thoughts about maybe moving up?
Yes, yeah, it's still king of the road.
Yeah.
They've kept that traditional Harley Davidson, that Road King's been around, and just they've refined it that much better. But still, king of the road for sure.
Nice job, Jim.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming out today.
Hang in there, we've got plenty more experience still ahead. The bodywork on our 25th anniversary Honda gets a coat of clear, while Norm and I decide to make a run for it. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Honda Canada. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to look in on the progress of our 25th anniversary Goldwing F6B. But before we do that, let's catch up with Norm Wells in this week's Ultimate Ride. Today, Norm and I decide it's time to get out of Dodge. Or is that Sturgis? As you know, for this year's two-wheeled Ultimate Ride getaway, Norm Wells and myself decided it was time to explore South Dakota. Our base of operation on this 5-day adventure was the outlaw town of Deadwood. Each day, we explored everything from the roads around Mount Rushmore to the gravesite of Wild Bill Hickok. We discovered mines, towers, even needles. Everything had gone very smoothly despite a government shutdown. So on our final day, the game plan was to explore the famous Badlands area. But since this was our 13th Ultimate Ride, we knew something was bound to go wrong. Well, Norm, here we are, day 3 on our Ultimate Ride, and we're back at Sturgis Motorsports in Sturgis, South Dakota. We were supposed to be riding in the Badlands.
Supposed to be. Yesterday afternoon was a big sunny day, 16, 17 degrees. Life was good. Woke up this morning to a very different story. It's about 4 or 5 degrees, cold, overcast, and some nasty stuff coming in.
Yeah, they're calling for 8 inches of snow this evening, so we've actually had to change our plans, and we're hoping to get on a flight in about 2 hours from now. So Badlands are out, but other than that, did I mention this was the 13th Ultimate Ride?
Yeah, it might have something to do with the luck we've been having.
We've had a little bit of bad luck on this one. The monuments were closed due to a shutdown of the government, but we still managed to see some really cool stuff, and I feel like this whole trip we've been riding in the footsteps of the Wild Wild West.
Absolutely, yeah. All of your favorites are in there.
Hickok, Calamity Jane, Custer. So let's just talk a little bit about our strategy as we got down here. Deadwood, we decided to make that the home base, and I think that was key because it was a great place to start out from every morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we thought at first we'd only stay there one day and do our usual ride to the next destination place. But once we got here, saw the loops that were available to do it at Deadwood, it was an ideal place to stay. And you know, it's always nice to have one hotel while you're on a bike too, every now and then.
Yep. Now, despite the shutdowns, we still managed to see Mount Rushmore and the Devil's Tower. But what turned out to be a real pleasant surprise, the roads to those monuments were just spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously we were disappointed that we couldn't get closer to the monuments, but the riding to get to the monuments or to get to the disappointment place were absolutely fantastic, and they made up for not being able to get closer to those pieces. But you know, it's all about the riding.
Yeah, and as far as the riding is concerned, for me, the ultimate highlight will remain maybe the Needles Highway. I thought that was spectacular. How about for you?
Yeah, that was definitely cool, but I still enjoyed it was short, but the ride into Silver City and back out from Silver City, I thought that was I had so much fun on that road, and it reminded me a lot of Deals Gap and you know, just the real fast technical corners through there.
Well, we managed to make it out to Wyoming. We got to see a cattle drive. We saw the monuments. We hit all the towns: Deadwood, Lead, Spearfish, Sundance, Belfourche. You know, despite missing out on the Badlands today, for me, it's been one great trip.
Absolutely, and like we said, you know, if you're going to come to this area, plan about 3 to 4 days and just really get out and explore everything.
Yeah, guaranteed you will have one ultimate ride. It's been a good one.
It's great.
Be sure to tune in next week to hear some valuable tips on how you can plan your next ultimate ride. And now it's time to catch up with artist David Arrigo as he wraps up our anniversary F6B.
We find ourselves probably, I'm going to say, around 3 hours from the end of the show. It's been a great show. It really has. You know, it's funny when I'm doing these sort of activations, interacting with all the fans and stuff like that. Your energy goes up, your energy goes down, your energy goes up, goes down. Right now I'm back up on a high. As soon as I start painting, it just kicks in again. It's a natural part of the process, and having a lot of fun just finishing up some of the details that I wanted to add into the other parts. I call it the secondary painting, where I'll pull each of these parts over here and just do some touch-ups. After we close down and leave the show today, bringing all the pieces back to the shop, taking a little break. Tomorrow morning I'll be back into the shop just doing some more final touch-ups, some cleaning up of the pieces. What happens at a lot of these shows is people tend to put their fingerprints on there and put their own mark on there, so I gotta just do a little cleanup. And then we'll be packing up the pieces once again for their road trip to clear coat. Clear coating is one of the most important parts of the entire process. This is what's gonna seal the paint, protect the paint, and you know, depending on how it's used, it can go on forever. Another exciting point from this weekend, I just found out that Honda is going to be debuting the bike at the Honda Indy in July, which is really exciting because it's almost become like a full loop for me, whereas I started off 20 plus years ago with the likes of Paul Tracy, Patrick Carpentier, Greg Moore, and all those guys into automotive racing. Now I've left on 4 wheels, coming back in on 2 wheels. This program in activation has been planning for probably, I would say, the good part of a few months now. This is exactly the vision I had from the beginning, and the execution was dead on. The help from Motorcycle Experience as well as Honda, it was fantastic. I have to say though, you know, some of the issues leading up to this, you know, everything from the snowstorms, trying to get to Barrie to see the bike, you know, in one piece, and then finally actually getting to see the bike in one piece here on the show floor. It's amazing stuff. And I can't thank Motorcycle Experience and Honda enough to really, you know, step out on the plank and believe in me. Now everyone can step back and it's all good.
Now keep your revs up because there's still plenty more experience around the bend. Next, we look in on Project Lightning Bolt and learn a simple way to make the bugs go away. Welcome back as Motovan presents the experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to catch up with our in-house riding instructor, Clinton Smout. This week, he's feeling a little off-kilter. Perhaps he's got a bug. But before we do that, let's look in on the progress of our Project Lightning Bolt. After 10 weeks, builder Rob Egan is exhausted. So Rob, there's about a week to go before the first consumer show in Calgary, right?
Yes. It's getting a little tight.
Getting a little tight. And a few weeks ago, we dealt with this stock exhaust system, and you were taking that off. We commented just how heavy that is.
It's almost a two-man job, this one. Yeah.
That's like 20, 25 pounds,
it's
maybe?
It's a heavy piece.
Okay, and then you were taking that off to Hindle Exhaust, Lang Hindle and his exhaust company. Yeah. And what did you get to replace it?
Well, Lang and Scotty up there did a nice job for us. They came up with a substantially lighter piece,
feel
as you
that.
can see.
Holy smokes. That's
worked out
crazy.
well.
That feels like a pound and a half.
It doesn't weigh much at all.
Yeah.
And it fits real nice too. It's the design we were looking for as far as our style of motorcycle, and it's on and off in no time at all.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And you've been able to retain that O2 sensor.
Right, which it needs for the fuel injection. The bike won't run right without it. So.
Right. And the
Back to
muffler?
that, and we've got again another nice light piece.
Another pound.
Exactly. And we've already built a little bracket that we've incorporated into our rear sets here to hold on to the muffler. And Scotty made the bracket mount line up with on the muffler exactly with our bracket. So we're done. 1 bolt, 2 springs, it's on.
So we've jettisoned 20 pounds or so.
At least, yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
Very
It's
nice.
exactly what we wanted.
And I can't wait to hear it.
No, it should sound pretty good.
Have there been any other little tweaks that you've done? The brake lines,
Yeah,
that does not look stock.
We're going to use the genuine Yamaha brake lines for the aftermarket parts, but they were, with our cafe setup, we had to make our own. So we built these, and they turned out nice, and that's full MotoGP style. So
Braided.
yep, stainless braided lines coated. So
And you made those here?
yes, we do everything. We do all that kind of stuff right in house. So
Wow. Very nice. Well, 7 days and counting.
yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape now. I was a little scared before, but now I feel better.
Okay, all you need now is the body work back from the shop.
Exactly.
Okay, well that's next week, and I can't wait to see this thing put together.
It's going to look pretty.
awesome.
Now, with that trick Hindle pipe now in place and the body parts back from the paint booth, it's finally time for Rob to assemble his lightning bolt. We'll see that next week. In the meantime, let's catch up with the chief instructor with the SMART programs. This week, it's tea time for Clinton Smout as he's pulled out the kettle.
Clinton, this week on Shifting Gears, where I ride in Eastern Ontario, my adventure bike in the spring especially just gets covered in bugs.
Black flies.
You know, that
Yep.
plexiglass screen, do you have any advice on how to get those bugs off?
Yeah, a tip I learned years ago was the bug little carcasses almost petrify on there, and they're really hard to get off.
Yeah.
So what I was told is take a kettle, not really boiling, but hot water, pour it on the rag,
Yep.
a little towel. Just lay that on the windshield, the back of your mirror, your headlight for a few minutes. That softens up the little carcasses, and
Right.
then you just wipe them right off.
Perfect. Windscreen, headlights, mirrors, the whole works,
Yep.
right?
Even the shield on your helmet that's covered in bugs.
Right. Cleaning tires. We've talked about checking tire pressures. What about cleaning tires and, those silicone cleaners like Armor All?
Yes.
Should we be using those around our tires?
I don't think so.
No.
You'll see bikes at bike shows with the lights on and they're revolving and the tires look glistening. I don't know if I'd want to ride that on the road,
Right.
especially if it's anywhere on the tread that's going to hit the pavement. You don't want Armor All or any kind of that beautifying agent on your tread. Soap and water is absolutely the best for
Okay.
tires, safety-wise.
All right. Now my bike is getting a little long on the tooth, and when I do my cleaning, I'm starting to notice a little bit of pitting, like a little bit of rust.
Surface rust, yep.
Is there any way I can deal with that?
Yeah, what I love is save your old toothbrushes, Dave. Don't take your wife's new one, but save your old ones. A little bit of this paste, Autosol, they have it for aluminum, for metal, and just rub it on wherever that surface rust is. It's
Yep.
often on the handlebars or on your fork sliders,
exactly.
top of the shocks, and then let it sit for a few minutes and wipe it off.
Right.
Really works well.
And I've noticed you've brought along a can of this sort of car wash in a can, bike
Yes.
wash in a can. You like this stuff?
Love it. We
Yeah.
use it a lot at our school because we want the customer to get on a nice clean bike. And it's fantastic for vinyl, leather, smells really good too.
Yep.
So if we have a date, a little dab will do you. But this spray is incredible how it shines up. You leave it for 5 minutes
Yep.
and then just wipe it off, Dave, and it leaves a protective layer that dust and dirt won't stick to. So it's easier to hose off the next time you do your bike.
Right. makes cleanup a breeze.
Yes.
And we keep talking about keeping your bike clean, but this is not about clean bikes, it's about safety, right?
It is.
Because it keeps you in touch with your motorcycle.
Bugs all over your windshield and your visor, not
True.
a good call.
Yeah. Some great advice, Clinton. Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Okay, now that we've got you fired up to ride, stay tuned because next we stick with the clean theme. Jen says before you ride, break out the hose. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and let's wrap up the show now with our very own Jennifer Martin. This week, Jen gets us ready to hit the road with a bucket and hose.
Jen, this week on Hitting the Road, you said you wanted to talk about washing the bike. It doesn't sound like hitting the road to me. That sounds like slowing down.
Yeah, but we want to take care of our beloved motorcycles. So you want to get up close personal. It's a great way to do, like we were talking about the pre-ride inspection, it's a great way to do a once-over on your motorcycle. We want to keep it clean and looking pretty as well.
Right. So when we're washing the bike, we're getting down on our hands and knees, we're using the sponge, we're touching the bike. It's a good time to go around and look and see that nothing has come loose, that nothing is leaking,
Everything's
levers.
secure, yeah.
Right. Okay, and so we're going to go at the bike, we're going to wash it. I guess gone are the days, judging by the products here, gone are the days of sneaking under mom's kitchen cupboard there and taking the dish soap. We've got all kinds of products now, right?
Yeah, there's so many out there and they're bike specific, and that's the key thing. The products are safe for using for the surface of the motorcycle itself, for the windshield. There's certain things in terms of the tires, the brake dust and stuff that's very corrosive, so to some of the tires that are not coated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So you want to make sure you get in there, clean it up, get the stuff off.
Right, and don't use anything corrosive. I guess the other thing, it doesn't help if you're going to use some dirty old towel every week that's getting all picked up sand and grit. So you're a big proponent of using these soft cloths because you don't want to scratch your paint.
You don't want to scratch your paint. You don't want to put scratches in your windshield or anything like that. So yeah, definitely invest in good cloths.
Okay, and I guess that sort of transfers over to the helmet world. You're a big proponent of cleaning your helmet every week.
Yeah, if you want to keep a badge of honor and show how many bugs you've collected, that's one thing, but it's not a good thing. You want to keep your the face shield free of bugs so that doesn't impede your vision when you're out there on the road. That's huge, as well as the entire surface of the helmet itself.
And again, use proper products, nothing corrosive, nothing that's going to damage the paint.
That's right.
And then cover it up when you're done?
When you're ready to store it, we talk about winter storage and stuff like that. Anytime you want to store it, make sure, put a cover on it.
Right.
And then obviously make sure that where you store it is somewhere safe, away, and somewhere where it's not going to fall.
Right. Yeah. And then finally, when you put your motorcycle away, much like the helmet, you want to park it somewhere where it's not going to get knocked over, it's going to be bumped by a car door or something. And you were saying even staying away from corrosive chemicals like pool chemicals.
Yeah, so if you have a pool, and you're storing your motorcycle in the same place that you keep your pool products, it's not a good thing. Keep it away from that.
It's going to damage the paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. All good advice. Okay, so wash your bike every week and then hit the road. Well, that's it for this week's program, folks. We're all out of time. Till next week, keep your feet on the pegs and your right hand cranked. Bye for now.
Closed captioning of this program was brought to you by Honda Canada.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Celeste.
Happy anniversary, Motorcycle Experience. 25 years.
My name's Ted Patterson from King City, and I'd just like to wish the Motorcycle Experience a happy 25th anniversary, and I wish the same to Dave Hatch as well.